Petrol stations in some part of Wiltshire are starting to run dry.
Now, have you had problems buying fuel over the last couple of days? It does seem petrol forecourts in Wiltshire are beginning to suffer the effect of the petrol tankers' drivers' strike. Fresh talks aimed at ending the strikes have been taking place today, and our business reporter Karen Hoggan has been following this dispute. Karen, what's the latest on those talks?
Well, they have actually ended for the day. So, yes, they resumed, as you say, earlier on today, and that was good news because having broken down without resolution last Thursday, it's a positive sign that the two sides, the tanker drivers union and the two haulage companies, are prepared to get round the table. But as I say, no resolution today, so what we're expecting is that they'll get together again tomorrow, continue talking. If no agreement is reached as a result of these talks, though, what we are expecting is a second 4-day strike of the tanker drivers to start on Friday.
And just remind us what this strike is actually all about.
Well, bottom line is pay. The tanker drivers, who are employed by Hoya UK, the haulage company, and Suckling Transport, two haulage companies basically contracted to deliver Shell petrol and diesel. They argue that they haven't had a decent pay rise since 1992. They say that on average they're paid about £32,000. They want an increase in that of 13%. Now, what was on the table was 6.8%, a 6.8% increase. That was increased on Thursday to 7.3%. The tanker driver said, no thanks, that's just not good enough. We want more. And so basically that's why we ended up with the position of this strike going ahead. The negotiations that are going on at the moment will be trying to strike some balance, is my guess, between the 13% that the tanker drivers want and the 7.3% that the employers are prepared to pay, reach an agreement that's satisfactory to both of them.
And now we've certainly been getting reports here in Wiltshire that certain petrol stations are running out of fuel. Is that the same kind of across the country?
It does seem to be. It kind of depends where you are, which happens to be your particular local petrol station. But the government said earlier today that there's more than 600 of the petrol stations in the UK had run out of unleaded and diesel fuels, one or other or both. Now, bearing in mind, though, that there are near enough 9,000 petrol stations in the UK, it's a relatively small number, I guess. But of course, that's no comfort to you if you happen to need to fill up and you can't because there's your local petrol station or the one you happen to be close to has run dry.
OK, Karen, thanks very much.
Talks aimed at trying to settle the pay dispute involving fuel tanker drivers who supply Shell have been adjourned. They'll resume tomorrow when the drivers will have returned to work after a 4-day strike.